You are nothing but a charity case my son made the mistake of marrying. Patricia Chen grabbed the mop from the janitor and shoved it into Maya's chest. Now clean up this mess like the maid you were born to be. Derek watched his mother humiliate his pregnant wife in front of 500 guests. He laughed. Jessica Lane, his mistress, poured her champagne directly onto Maya's borrowed dress. Oops, more cleaning for you, sweetheart. What none of them knew was that Maya's father owned this hotel, this company, and every job in this room, and he had just walked through the door. Before we dive into this satisfying story of satisfying revenge, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Trust me, you do not want to miss how this satisfying ends. And drop a comment telling me which city you are watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Now let us begin. Get out of my way. Derek shoved past Maya in their apartment doorway, adjusting his cufflinks without looking at her. Derek, wait. I thought we were going together. He stopped, turned slowly. His eyes traveled from her face down to her borrowed beige dress, and his lip curled with disgust. You are not serious. What do you mean? Look at yourself, Maya. This is the biggest night of my career. The Whitmore Grand Hotel, 500 executives, the CEO himself. And you want to show up looking like that? Maya touched her dress. I borrowed it from Mrs. Patterson next door. I thought it looked nice. Nice. Derek laughed, but there was no warmth in it. You look like you are going to a church potluck. Stay home. But you said this party was important. You said you wanted me there. That was before I knew you would embarrass me. He grabbed his car keys. I will tell people you are sick. It is better for everyone. Derek, I am your wife. He paused at the door. When he turned back, his face had changed. Harder, colder. Then start acting like it. My mother was right about you. 3 years and you still do not know how to be the wife I need. The door slammed behind him. Maya stood alone in the silence. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of hiding who she really was. And this was the man she had trusted with her secret. She dialed a number she had not called in months. Dad, it is me. Maya. Richard Whitmore's voice was warm but concerned. Is everything all right? No, nothing is all right. I need your help tonight. But not yet. I need to see something first. The Christmas gala at the hotel. You knew. I know everything that happens in my building, sweetheart. I have been watching your husband for months. I did not want to interfere, but you were right about him. Maya's voice cracked. You were right about everything. Silence on the line. Then her father spoke quietly. What do you need from me? I need you to come to the party, but wait until I signal you. I need everyone to see who he really is first. Then I need you to end him. Consider it done. Maya hung up. She looked at herself in the mirror. The borrowed dress, the old coat, the flat shoes. Perfect. Tonight she would give Derek exactly what he expected. A wife who did not belong. A wife who embarrassed him. A wife he could discard without guilt. And then she would show him who he had really married. She grabbed the envelope from her drawer. Divorce papers. Pre-signed. Time to go. The taxi dropped Maya at the service entrance of the Whitmore Grand Hotel. A security guard blocked her path immediately. Private event, ma'am. Invitation only. I have an invitation. I am with Derek Chen. The guard looked her up and down. His eyebrow rose. Derek Chen, the senior director. Yes, I am his wife. The guard snorted. Right. And I am married to Beyoncé. Service staff entrance is around back. I am not service staff. I am a guest. Lady, I have seen the guest list. Derek Chen's +1 is Jessica Lane. Not... He gestured at her outfit, whatever this is. Maya's stomach dropped. Derek had listed Jessica as his date. To a company event, while his wife sat at home. Call him, Maya said quietly. Call Derek Chen and ask him if his wife is allowed to enter. The guard hesitated, then spoke into his radio. A long pause. Then his face changed. My apologies, ma'am. Apparently there was a mistake. You may enter. But his smirk told her everything. The whole security team knew. Derek had brought his mistress and his wife was the joke. Maya walked into the ballroom. Oh my God, what is that? The whisper came from a group of women near the entrance. They stared at Maya's dress, her coat, her shoes. One of them laughed behind her hand. Is she lost? Should someone call housekeeping? Maybe she is the entertainment, like a before and after makeover show. Maya kept walking. She spotted Derek across the room, surrounded by executives. Jessica Lane stood next to him, her hand resting possessively on his arm. Their eyes met. Derek's face went white. He excused himself and crossed the room in quick, angry strides. What the hell are you doing here? He grabbed her arm and pulled her behind a pillar. I told you to stay home. I am your wife. I wanted to support you. Support me. His grip tightened painfully. You are destroying me. Do you see how people are looking at you, at us? This is my night, Maya. My promotion. And you are ruining it. I just wanted to be here for you. Then leave. Now. Before anyone else sees you. Derek. I mean it. His voice dropped to a hiss. Go home. Take a taxi. Tell them you got sick. I do not care what excuse you use. Just get out of my sight. He released her arm and walked away without looking back. Maya stood alone behind the pillar. The bruise on her arm was already forming. Well, well, well. Jessica Lane appeared in front of her champagne glass in hand smile, sharp as broken glass. So you are the famous wife. Derek talks about you all the time. Does he? Oh, yes. He says you are boring, clingy. Completely wrong for him. Jessica sipped her champagne. I can see why. That dress is absolutely tragic. Did you find it in a dumpster? I borrowed it from a neighbor. Borrowed. Jessica laughed. Oh, honey, that is so sad. Derek's wife cannot even afford her own clothes. No wonder he needs someone like me. Someone like you. Jessica leaned closer. Her perfume was expensive. Her diamonds were real. Maya recognized them from the jewelry store Derek had said was too expensive for their budget. Someone with class, style, ambition. Someone who can actually help his career instead of dragging it down. She patted Maya's cheek condescendingly. You should go home, sweetheart. You do not belong here. Everyone knows it. Derek knows it. The only one who has not figured it out yet is you. She walked away, hips swaying, leaving Maya alone. But Maya was not alone for long. There you are. Patricia Chen descended on her daughter-in-law with fire in her eyes. What do you think you are doing here? Derek called me. He is mortified. Hello, Patricia. Do not hello, Patricia, me. Look at yourself. You look like a bag lady. A homeless person. This is how you represent my son at the most important event of his career. I wore what I had. What you had? Patricia's voice rose. Nearby guests turned to stare. My son gave you a credit card. He gave you an allowance. And this is what you show up in. Maya stayed silent. The credit card had been canceled 6 months ago. The allowance stopped coming 4 months ago. Derek said they needed to save money. Apparently, saving money meant spending it on Jessica instead. You know what your problem is? Patricia stepped closer, her voice dripping with venom. You have no breeding, no class, no family worth mentioning. I told Derek from the beginning that you were a mistake. A stray dog he picked up out of pity. And tonight you have proven me right. I am sorry you feel that way. Sorry, Patricia laughed. You should be sorry. You should be on your knees thanking my son for giving you 3 years of a life you never deserved. But instead you show up here embarrassing him. Embarrassing our family. Embarrassing everyone who has to look at you. She grabbed Maya's arm in the same spot Derek had grabbed it. Maya winced. Go home, now. Before I have security, throw you out myself. I think I will stay. Patricia's eyes widened. Excuse me. I said I will stay. This is a company party. I am an employee's spouse. I have every right to be here. And for a moment, Patricia was speechless. Then her face twisted with rage. You will regret this. I promise you by the end of tonight, you will wish you had listened to me. She stormed away. Maya exhaled slowly. Her hands were shaking. The nausea that had been bothering her for weeks rolled through her stomach again. What was wrong with her? Stress, probably. This whole situation was a nightmare. She found a quiet corner and tried to disappear. For the next hour, she watched. She watched Derek charm executives with his smile and his lies. She watched Jessica hang on his arm, laughing at his jokes, touching him constantly. She watched Patricia point at her and whisper to other guests, who then looked at Maya with pity or contempt. She watched her marriage die in real time. "Excuse me, ma'am." An elderly waiter appeared at her elbow. His eyes were kind but confused. "Can I get you anything?" "No, thank you." He hesitated. "Forgive me, but you look very familiar. Have we met before?" Maya's heart stopped. This man was old enough to have worked for her grandfather. "I do not think so." "Strange. You remind me of someone. A little girl who used to run through these halls years ago. She would hide under the banquet tables during parties. Her grandfather owned this hotel." Maya forced herself to breathe normally. "That is a lovely story, but it was not me." The waiter nodded slowly, but doubt lingered in his eyes. "My apologies. Enjoy your evening, ma'am." He walked away. Maya released the breath she had been holding. Too close. She could not be recognized yet. Not until the moment was right. "Ladies and gentlemen," the CEO took the stage. "Welcome to our annual New Year's Eve gala." Applause filled the room. Derek and Jessica moved to the front, positioning themselves prominently. "I want to recognize some outstanding team members tonight. First, our marketing department led by the exceptional Derek Chen." More applause. Derek waved modestly. Jessica beamed beside him. "Derek is being considered for vice president, and I think we can all agree he represents the future of this company." Patricia clapped enthusiastically. Derek caught Maya's eye for 1 second, then looked away as if she were a stranger. "Now let us move to our annual gift exchange." The crowd gathered in a circle. Executives exchanged expensive presents. Watches, jewelry, designer accessories. "Derek Chen, you are next." Derek stepped forward. Jessica handed him a wrapped box with a knowing smile. "Open it, darling. From someone who believes in you." Derek tore off the wrapping. Inside was a Patek Philippe watch. The crowd gasped. "Jessica, this is too much." "Nothing is too much for the future vice president." They shared a look that made Maya's stomach turn. This was not just an affair. This was a statement. Jessica was claiming him publicly. "Oh, Maya!" Jessica's voice rang out across the crowd. She was walking toward her holding another wrapped box. "I almost forgot about you, sweetie. I have something for you, too." The crowd parted. Everyone stared. Derek watched with cold indifference. Patricia smirked. "Here you go." Jessica thrust the box into Maya's hands. "I picked this out especially for you." Maya looked at the cheap wrapping. The light box. Something was very wrong. "Open it," Jessica urged. "Do not be shy." Maya pulled off the paper. Inside was a cleaning kit from the dollar store. Rubber gloves, sponges, discount spray cleaner. Laughter exploded through the crowd. "I thought it suited you perfectly," Jessica said sweetly. "You always look like you need some maintenance." More laughter. Derek turned away. Patricia doubled over with delight. "Oh, Jessica, you are absolutely perfect." I just wanted her to feel included. Jessica leaned close to Maya, whispering, "This is what you are, sweetie. The help, the nobody." The charity case Derek married before he knew any better. But he knows better now. And soon you will be gone, and I will be standing exactly where I belong. Right beside him. Maya's hands trembled around the cleaning kit. 500 people were laughing at her. Her husband was pretending not to know her. Her mother-in-law was celebrating her humiliation. And then it got worse. A waiter walked past, and his tray of champagne crashed to the floor directly in front of Maya. Glass shattered everywhere. Champagne splashed across her shoes. "Oh no!" Jessica gasped with fake concern. "What a disaster!" She looked at Maya with glittering eyes. "Wait, Maya, you have cleaning supplies now? How perfect." Someone appeared with a mop, pressed it into Maya's hands. "Clean it up, sweetheart. Show everyone how useful you can be." "Yes, earn your keep," Patricia shouted from the crowd. "Make yourself useful for once in your life." Derek stood frozen near the stage. not defending, not helping, not even looking. Maya stared at the mop in her hands. 500 people watching. Her husband laughing, her mother-in-law cheering, his mistress victorious. This was the moment that would define everything. Maya set down the mop. "I think," she said quietly, "that I should leave." "Finally," Patricia clapped. "The smartest thing you have said all night." "Use the service entrance," Jessica added. "We have standards here." Maya picked up her old coat. She clutched her purse with the divorce papers inside. She walked toward the exit. The crowd parted, still snickering, still whispering. She was almost at the door when it happened. The grand entrance doors swung open. A man walked in. Gray hair, expensive suit, an aura of absolute power that silenced the entire room instantly. The CEO rushed forward, nearly tripping over himself. "Mr. Whitmore, sir, we were not expecting you. What an incredible honor." Richard Whitmore did not acknowledge him. His eyes scanned the room until they found one person. Maya. He walked toward her. The crowd parted like water. Every guest, every executive, every waiter froze in place. Richard stopped in front of his daughter and took her hands gently. "I saw everything, sweetheart. My team recorded the whole night. Every word, every moment." Maya felt tears burning in her eyes. "Dad." The word echoed through the silent ballroom. "Dad." Derek stumbled forward, face white as chalk. "Sir Mr. Whitmore, did she just call you?" Richard turned to face him. His eyes were ice. "Derek Chen, senior director at my company. I believe you married my daughter 3 years ago." He paused. "My daughter. The heir to the Whitmore empire. The woman you just watched your mistress humiliate with a mop." Derek's knees buckled. Jessica's champagne glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. Patricia grabbed a table for support, gasping for air. Richard Whitmore smiled. It was the coldest smile Maya had ever seen. "Now, let us discuss what happens next." The silence in the ballroom was absolute. 500 guests stood frozen champagne glasses, suspended mid-air conversations dead on their lips. Richard Whitmore released Maya's hands and turned to face the crowd. His presence commanded the room like a king, surveying his subjects. "I apologize for the interruption," he said, his voice carrying to every corner. "Please continue enjoying the party. I just need to have a private conversation with a few people." Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Richard's eyes found Derek first. "Mr. Chen, my office. Now." Derek's legs seemed to have stopped working. He stood rooted to the spot, mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air. "I said now." Jessica grabbed Derek's arm. "Baby, do not go with him. He cannot do anything to you. You have rights." Richard's gaze shifted to her. "Miss Lane, you will join us as well. I do not take orders from you. You have been taking a salary from me for 3 years. That makes you my employee. And right now I am ordering you to follow me, or security will escort you out of this building and you will never work in this industry again." Jessica's defiance crumbled. Her hand dropped from Derek's arm. Patricia pushed through the crowd, her face a mask of desperate charm. "May I missing this?" "Sir Whitmore, I'm sorry, Sarah. There has been a terrible misunderstanding. I am Patricia Chen Derek's mother. I am sure we can clear all of this up. Whatever Maya told you, she has always been a bit dramatic. You know how young wives can be." "Mrs. Chen." Richard's voice could have frozen fire. "I watched your performance tonight on live video feed. I heard you call my daughter a stray dog. I saw you hand her a mop. There is no misunderstanding." Patricia's face went gray. "You will also join us." Richard turned and walked toward the private elevator at the back of the ballroom. The crowd parted instantly. Maya followed her father. Behind her, she heard Derek's footsteps, unsteady and stumbling. Jessica's heels clicked rapidly. Patricia's breathing came in short, panicked gasps. The elevator doors closed on the 5 of them. Silence. Then Derek exploded. "Maya, what the hell is this?" "Your father. You told me your parents were dead." Maya looked at him calmly. I told you my mother died when I was young. I never said anything about my father. You lied to me. I omitted information. There is a difference. You let me believe you were nobody. You let me think you were just some poor girl from nowhere. I wanted to be loved for who I was, not for my money. Derek laughed bitterly. And what this was some kind of test, you were testing me this whole time. Yes. Maya's voice was steady. And you failed. The elevator opened into a private office suite. Richard walked to the massive desk and sat behind it. His lawyer stood waiting in the corner. Two security guards flanked the door. Sit, Richard commanded. Derek, Jessica, and Patricia sat in the three chairs facing the desk. Maya stood beside her father. Let me be clear about something, Richard began. I did not want my daughter to marry you, Mr. Chen. I told her you were too focused on appearances, too hungry for status. She defended you. She said you were kind, genuine, different. Derek said nothing. For 3 years, I respected her choice. I stayed away. I let her live her life. But 6 months ago, something changed. My daughter stopped calling. She stopped visiting. And when I had my people investigate, I found out why. He pressed a button on his desk. A large screen on the wall flickered to life. Photos appeared. Derek and Jessica at a hotel, kissing in a restaurant, walking arm in arm through a jewelry store, lying together on a beach in what looked like Cancun. Mexico, Richard said quietly. Last month, you told my daughter you had a business conference in Seattle, but you took Miss Lane to a resort instead. Derek's face was green. Sir, I can explain. Can you explain this? More photos, hotel receipts, credit card statements, all from the company account. 12 hotel stays in 6 months, 43 dinners at restaurants, jewelry purchases totaling over $30,000, all charged to Henderson Global's client entertainment budget. The lawyer stepped forward. That is embezzlement, Mr. Chen. Federal crime, 5 to 10 years in prison. Derek shot to his feet. You cannot prove that was personal. Those were legitimate business expenses. Miss Lane does not work in client relations, Richard replied. She has no business reason to attend client dinners. Every expense with her name attached is fraud. Jessica finally spoke. I was helping Derek with his work. Those dinners were networking opportunities. Networking. Richard's smile was thin as a blade. Is that what you call it when you book the honeymoon suite? Jessica shut her mouth. Patricia leaned forward desperately. Mr. Whitmore, please. My son made a mistake. Men make mistakes. But he loves Maya. He has always loved Maya. This woman, she pointed at Jessica with contempt. She seduced him. She manipulated him. Derek is a victim here. A victim. Richard's voice dripped with disbelief. Your son called my daughter an embarrassment. He told her she did not belong at a party in a hotel her grandfather built. He watched while his mistress humiliated her with a mop. That is not a victim. That is a coward. He did not know who she was? That is exactly the point, Mrs. Chen. He did not know she was rich. He did not know she was powerful. And when he thought she was nobody, he treated her like garbage. Richard leaned forward. That tells me everything I need to know about your son's character. Derek fell back into his chair, all fight gone from his body. What do you want? He whispered. Money, I will pay back everything. I will do whatever you want. Just please do not destroy my career. Richard looked at his daughter. Maya, what do you want? The room turned to her. Derek's eyes were desperate pleading. Jessica's were calculating, searching for an angle. Patricia's were pure hatred, barely concealed. Maya reached into her purse and pulled out the envelope. I want a divorce. She dropped the papers on the desk. I signed them 2 weeks ago, Derek. I have known about Jessica for 2 months. I hired a private investigator. I have copies of every text message, every email, every photo. Derek grabbed the papers with shaking hands. Maya, please. We can work this out. I love you. I made mistakes, but I love you. Do you? Maya's voice was ice. When exactly did you love me, Derek? When you moved to the guest room 6 months ago. When you started comparing me to other women. When you told me I was too boring to attend your work events. When you listed your mistress as your +1 instead of your wife. That was a mistake. When you grabbed my arm tonight and told me to go home because I embarrassed you. When you let your mother call me a stray dog, when you watched Jessica hand me a mop and you laughed. I did not laugh. I saw you. Maya's composure cracked for the first time. I saw you smile, Derek. Your wife was being humiliated in front of 500 people and you smiled. I was nervous. I did not know what to do. You could have defended me. You could have told them to stop. You could have walked over and stood beside me. But you did not, because you were ashamed of me. Derek had no response. Jessica saw her opening. Mr. Whitmore, sir, I think there has been a miscommunication. Derek and I are just colleagues. Whatever Maya's investigator told her, it is exaggerated. We are close friends, nothing more. Nothing more. Richard pressed another button. Audio played through the speakers. Derek's voice. I love you, Jess. When this is over, when I divorce Maya, we will be together. I promise. Jessica's voice. When are you going to leave her? I am tired of being your secret. Derek's voice again. Soon. I just need to get the VP position first. Then I will have enough money to give her whatever she wants in the divorce. She will not fight it. She is too weak. The recording stopped. Jessica's face was white as paper. Still just colleagues? Richard asked. That recording is illegal. You cannot use it. The lawyer smiled. Actually, Miss Lane, Illinois is a one-party consent state. The person who made that recording consented, which means it is perfectly admissible in court. Who recorded that? Derek demanded. Richard glanced at Maya. I did, she said quietly. 2 weeks ago. You were on the phone in the bathroom. You thought I was asleep. Derek looked at his wife like he had never seen her before. You were spying on me. I was protecting myself. From you. Patricia stood suddenly. This is ridiculous. So my son had an affair. So would half the men in this room have affairs? You cannot destroy someone's career over a personal matter. I am not destroying his career over the affair, Mrs. Chen. I am destroying his career over the embezzlement, the harassment, the violation of company ethics policies, and the public humiliation of my daughter at a company event. Richard stood, and despite his age, he seemed to tower over everyone in the room. Your son is terminated, effective immediately, blacklisted from every Whitmore-affiliated company, which represents approximately 70% of the Fortune 500. His access cards have already been deactivated. His desk is being cleaned out as we speak. Derek grabbed the edge of the desk. You cannot do this. I will sue. I have an employment contract. The lawyer produced a document. Section 47 of your employment contract. Conduct unbecoming of company values. Section 52. Misuse of company resources. Section 61. Harassment of fellow employees or their families. You violated all 3 tonight, Mr. Chen, in front of 500 witnesses. Those sections are never enforced. They are being enforced now. Patricia turned on Maya with pure venom. You planned this. You set my son up. You pretended to be poor and pathetic just so you could trap him and then destroy him. I pretended to be normal, Maya corrected. I wanted a husband who would love me without knowing my bank account. Derek failed that test. You arrogant little... Careful, Mrs. Chen. Richard's voice cut through the room. My daughter has been called enough names tonight. One more and I will make sure your social calendar becomes very empty very quickly. Patricia's mouth snapped shut. Jessica made one last desperate attempt. Mr. Whitmore, please. I have worked at this company for 7 years. I have an excellent record. Whatever happened between Derek and me, it should not affect my career. 7 years, Richard repeated. 7 years, and not once did you show any concern for the company's values. Tonight you publicly humiliated the wife of a colleague. You gave her a cleaning kit as a gift. You poured champagne on her dress. You handed her a mop and told her to clean the floor, in front of 500 employees and executives. I did not know who she was. She was a pregnant woman in a borrowed dress. That should have been enough to treat her with basic decency. Jessica froze. Pregnant? Maya's hand went instinctively to her stomach. Richard looked at his daughter. You did not tell them. I did not know. Maya's voice was barely a whisper. I suspected, but I did not know for certain until just now. The nausea, the dizziness, I thought it was stress. Derek stood so fast his chair crashed to the floor. You are pregnant, we are having a baby. I am having a baby. Maya's voice hardened. Whether you are involved remains to be seen. Maya, this changes everything. We cannot get divorced now. We are going to be parents. We have to work this out for the baby. You should have thought about the baby before you slept with another woman for 6 months. Before you told your mistress that I was too weak to fight a divorce. Before you called me an embarrassment in front of 500 people. I did not know you were pregnant. You did not know I was rich either. That did not stop you from treating me like garbage. Derek reached for her. Maya, please. I love you. I love our baby. Give me another chance. Richard stepped between them. You have had 3 years of chances, Mr. Chen, and tonight I watched you waste the last one. He turned to the security guards. Escort Mr. Chen, Miss Lane, and Mrs. Chen back to the ballroom. They have some announcements to hear. The guards moved forward. Wait. Derek was pleading now, all pretense of dignity gone. Mr. Whitmore, please. I will do anything. I will sign over everything. I will work for free, just do not blacklist me. I will never find work. I will lose everything. You should have considered that before you betrayed my daughter. She lied to me. She hid who she was. How is that fair? Richard paused. When he spoke, his voice was quiet but deadly. My daughter hid her wealth because she wanted to be loved for herself. She gave you a simple test, Mr. Chen. Love her when you thought she had nothing. And you failed. You failed every single day for the past 6 months. You chose another woman. You chose status over substance. You chose your own ambition over your wife's happiness. He stepped closer to Derek, and despite being 20 years older, the power differential was clear. That is not my daughter's fault. That is yours. And now you will pay the price. The guards took Derek's arms. He did not resist. The fight had gone out of him completely. Jessica tried one more time. Mr. Whitmore, I have connections. I have friends in media. If you fire me like this, I will tell everyone what happened. I will destroy your company's reputation. Richard actually smiled. Miss Lane, I own 4 major news networks, 3 publishing houses, and the largest PR firm in the country. You are welcome to try. Jessica's face crumbled. Patricia said nothing. She walked out with the guards, her back straight, but her hands shaking. The door closed behind them. Maya exhaled slowly, and suddenly her legs would not hold her anymore. She grabbed the edge of the desk, dizzy, overwhelmed. Sweetheart. Richard was at her side immediately. Sit down. You need to rest. I am fine. You are pregnant and you just confronted your cheating husband. You are not fine. Maya let her father guide her to a chair. She sat heavily, her hands still on her stomach. I did not know, she whispered. About the baby. I suspected, but I was not sure. And now you know. I was going to divorce him anyway. The papers were already signed, but now there is a baby. It changes everything. It changes nothing. Richard knelt beside her, taking her hands. You are still leaving him. You are still better off without him. The baby will have a grandfather who loves them, a mother who is strong and brave. They do not need a father who treats women like accessories. Tears finally spilled down Maya's cheeks. I loved him, Dad. I really loved him. I thought he loved me too. I know, sweetheart. How did I not see it? How did I miss who he really was? Because you wanted to believe. Because love makes us blind. Because you are good and you assumed he was good too. Maya wiped her eyes. What happens now? Now we go downstairs. I make an announcement. Your husband and his mistress learn what it means to cross this family. And then we go home and you rest and we figure out the next chapter. Together. Richard squeezed her hands. Always together. They rode the elevator back down to the ballroom. The party had not resumed. 500 guests stood in clusters, whispering frantically, glancing at the elevator doors every few seconds. When the doors opened, silence fell instantly. Richard walked out first. Maya followed. Derek stood near the stage, flanked by security guards. Jessica was beside him, makeup smeared from crying. Patricia stood apart from them, trying to pretend she was not associated with the disaster unfolding. Richard took the microphone from the CEO, who surrendered it without hesitation. "Good evening," Richard said. "I apologize for disrupting your celebration, but I have some announcements to make." The crowd pressed closer. First, Derek Chen is no longer employed by Whitmore Industries. He has been terminated for embezzlement harassment and conduct unbecoming of our company values. Gasps rippled through the room. Second, Jessica Lane is also terminated. Immediately. Same charges apply. More gasps. People looked at Jessica with shock and judgment. Third, I want to address what happened here tonight. Richard's voice hardened. Many of you witnessed my daughter being humiliated. You watched as she was given a cleaning kit as a gift. You watched as she was handed a mop and told to clean the floor. You watched as she was called names, mocked, and dismissed. The crowd shifted uncomfortably. Some of you laughed. Some of you joined in. Some of you simply watched and did nothing. Silence. Guilty silence. My daughter is Maya Whitmore. She is the heir to everything you see around you. But more importantly, she is a human being. And she deserved basic decency regardless of what she was wearing or who you thought she was. Richard's gaze swept the room. Everyone who participated in tonight's humiliation has 1 week to submit a written apology. Anyone who does not will be terminated. Panic flashed across dozens of faces. I built this company on values: respect, integrity, compassion. What happened tonight violated all of them, and it will never happen again. He set down the microphone. The room erupted. Executives rushed toward Maya, stumbling over each other to apologize. "Mrs. Whitmore, I am so sorry, I had no idea. Please forgive us, we were just following along. I never meant to hurt you." Maya looked at them calmly. "You knew I was pregnant. You knew I was someone's wife. That should have been enough." They had no response. Across the room, Derek broke free from the security guards and ran toward her. "Maya, please, you have to listen to me." Security grabbed him before he reached her. "I love you," he shouted. "I will change, I will be better. Think about our baby." Maya walked toward him slowly. The crowd parted. She stopped 3 feet away and looked at the man she had married, the man who had held her hand at their wedding, the man who had promised to love her forever. "You had 3 years to be better," she said quietly. "Tonight was your final test, and you failed." She reached into her purse and pulled out a pen. "Sign the papers, Derek. Let me go." "No, I will not." "Then I will see you in court. And I promise you the court case will be much worse for you than a quiet divorce." Derek's face crumbled. "Maya, please. I am begging you. I cannot lose everything. My job, my wife, my baby. I cannot lose all of it." "You already lost all of it. You lost it the moment you chose her over me." Maya turned and walked back to her father. Behind her, Derek's sobs echoed through the silent ballroom. Jessica screamed at him. "This is your fault. You said she was nobody. You said we would be together." "Shut up," Derek screamed back. "Just shut up. This is all because of you. Because of me. You pursued me. You said you loved me." They turned on each other, their alliance shattering their true natures, finally exposed for everyone to see. Patricia watched her son's destruction with horror. Then she did the only thing she knew how to do. She ran, straight toward the exit, not looking back, abandoning her son without a second thought. A security guard stopped her at the door. "Mrs. Chen, Mr. Whitmore would like a word before you leave." Patricia's face twisted with fear. "I have nothing to say to him." That was not a request. Maya watched her mother-in-law being escorted toward her father. 3 hours ago, Patricia had called her a stray dog. Now she looked like one herself. Cornered, terrified, pathetic. "Mrs. Chen," Richard's voice was calm. "I understand you have been quite vocal about my daughter over the past 3 years, telling anyone who would listen that she was beneath your son, that she was worthless, that she trapped him into marriage." Patricia said nothing. "I also understand that you encouraged your son's relationship with Miss Lane. That you told him Maya was too boring, too plain, too unambitious for a man of his potential. Still nothing. Do you have anything to say for yourself? Patricia finally spoke, her voice trembling. I was protecting my son. Any mother would do the same. You were destroying his marriage, and in doing so, you destroyed him. That is not fair. He made his own choices. Choices you encouraged every step of the way. Richard leaned closer. Your son is about to become a father, Mrs. Chen, my grandchild. And I want you to understand something very clearly. Patricia waited, barely breathing. If you ever try to contact my daughter or my grandchild without permission, if you ever speak negatively about Maya to anyone, if you ever attempt to interfere in their lives in any way, I will make sure you lose everything. Your country club membership, your social standing, your friends, your comfortable lifestyle. Everything. Patricia's lip quivered. You cannot do that. I can. And I will. Consider yourself warned. Richard turned away from her. Security. Mrs. Chen is leaving now. Patricia was escorted out, her head down, her pride shattered. Maya watched her go. 3 hours ago, she had been afraid of that woman, intimidated by her judgment, desperate for her approval. Now she felt nothing but pity. Sweetheart. Her father appeared at her side. It is time to go home. Maya nodded. Exhaustion was hitting her in waves now. The adrenaline was fading, leaving behind nothing but emptiness. She let her father guide her toward the private exit. Behind her, the party had completely dissolved into chaos. Executives demanded explanations from the CEO. Derek was being held by security, still crying. Jessica was screaming into her phone, trying desperately to find someone who would help her. But Maya did not look back. She was done looking back. The elevator doors closed, and she let out a long, shaky breath. It is over, she whispered. Richard put his arm around her. No, sweetheart. It is just beginning. The drive home was silent. Maya sat in the back of her father's car, staring out the window at the Chicago skyline, her hand resting on her stomach. Pregnant. She was pregnant with Derek's baby. The man who had humiliated her. The man who had chosen his mistress over his wife. The man who had called her an embarrassment in front of 500 people. That man was going to be the father of her child. You should eat something, Richard said gently. You have not eaten all night. I am not hungry. The baby needs nutrition. Maya closed her eyes. Please do not say that word right now. Richard fell silent. He understood. His daughter needed time to process everything that had happened, but time was a luxury they did not have. Maya's phone buzzed. Then again. Then again. She looked at the screen and saw dozens of notifications flooding in. Derek, 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 Patricia, unknown number, Derek, Jessica, Derek. She turned off the phone. He will not stop, Richard said. Men like him never stop until they have exhausted every option. Let him exhaust himself. I have nothing left to say. The car pulled into the Whitmore estate. Maya had not been here in 3 years. Not since her wedding. Not since she had chosen a life with Derek over the comfort of her family home. She had been so naive. Your old room is ready, Richard said. I had the staff prepare it when you called this afternoon. You knew I would come back. I hoped. I've been hoping for 3 years. Maya walked into the house that had raised her. The familiar hallways, the photographs on the walls, the smell of her father's cologne and her grandfather's old books. Home. She had forgotten what home felt like. Get some rest, Richard said. Tomorrow will be difficult. The lawyers are already preparing everything. What about Derek? What about him? He is going to fight the divorce. He said he would not sign. Richard's expression hardened. Then we will make him sign, one way or another. Maya nodded and walked upstairs to her childhood bedroom. The moment the door closed behind her, she broke down. 3 years. 3 years of loving a man who never loved her back. 3 years of building a life that was nothing but lies. 3 years of believing she had found something real. And now she was pregnant. Alone. Starting over at 28 with nothing but her family's money and her shattered heart. The tears came hard and fast, and Maya did not try to stop them. She cried until she had nothing left. Then she slept. The next morning came too quickly. Maya woke to the sound of her phone buzzing. She had turned it back on during the night, and now the notifications were overwhelming. 47 missed calls from Derek, 22 from Patricia, 11 from numbers she did not recognize, hundreds of text messages, and something else. Emails from news outlets, interview requests, comments on social media posts she had not made. Maya sat up in bed confused. She opened her browser and searched her name. The results made her blood run cold. Whitmore heiress exposed secret wife humiliated at company. Gala billionaire's daughter reveals identity after husband's mistress hands her a mop video. Cheating husband learns his wife is worth $60 billion. Someone had recorded the entire confrontation. Multiple videos were circulating online. The moment Jessica handed her the cleaning kit. The moment Patricia called her a stray dog. The moment Richard walked through those doors. And the moment Derek's face crumbled when he learned who he had really married. The videos had millions of views already. Maya's phone rang. Her father. "You have seen the news?" he said. "How did this happen?" "Someone at the party recorded everything. It went viral overnight. Every major outlet is running the story." "Can we stop it?" "Do we want to?" Maya paused. "What do you mean? Right now, public opinion is entirely on your side. You are the sympathetic victim. Derek is the villain. If we try to suppress the story, we look like we have something to hide. But if we let it run, if we control the narrative, we can use it." "Use it how?" "Derek is going to fight the divorce. He will claim you deceived him. He will try to paint himself as the victim. But these videos show the truth. They show exactly who he is. And when this goes to court, every judge in the country will have already seen what happened." Maya thought about it. Her privacy was already gone. The whole world knew her face, her name, her story. But the whole world also knew what Derek had done. "Okay," she said. "Let it run." "Good. Now get dressed. The lawyers are here. We have work to do." Maya showered and dressed quickly. When she came downstairs, her father's study was filled with people. Lawyers, publicists, security personnel, and one unexpected guest. "Hello, Maya." Derek stood in the center of the room, flanked by two of her father's security guards. He looked terrible, unshaven, wrinkled clothes, red eyes from crying or drinking or both. "What is he doing here?" Maya demanded. "He showed up at the gate an hour ago," Richard said. "Refused to leave until he spoke to you. I thought you should decide whether to hear him out." Derek stepped forward. The guards moved with him. "Maya, please. Just give me 5 minutes. That is all I am asking. 5 minutes to explain." "Pacho." "Explain how you cheated on me for 6 months. How you let your mistress humiliate me. How you called me an embarrassment. I was wrong. I was so wrong. But I did not know who you were. You thought I was nobody. And that made it okay to treat me like garbage." "No, that is not." "Tell me something, Derek." Maya's voice was steady cold. "If I had not been Richard Whitmore's daughter, if I had just been Maya Chen, the boring wife in the borrowed dress, what would have happened last night?" Derek hesitated. "Answer me." "I do not know." "Yes, you do. You would have gone home with Jessica. You would have filed for divorce next month. You would have taken everything you could and left me with nothing." Derek's silence confirmed everything. "The only reason you are here right now begging for forgiveness is because you found out I am rich. If I were still nobody, you would already be planning your new life with her." "That is not true." "Then why did you not chase after me when I walked toward the exit before my father showed up? You watched me leave Derek. You were relieved I was leaving. You only started caring when you realized what you were losing." Derek had no response. Richard stepped forward. "I think we are done here." "No." Derek lunged toward Maya. The guards grabbed him instantly. "Maya, I love you. I have always loved you. Please think about the baby." "I am thinking about the baby. I am thinking about what kind of father you would be, what kind of example you would set. and I have decided that my child deserves better. You cannot keep me from my own child. I am not keeping you from anything, but I will not raise a baby in a house full of lies. I will not teach my child that cheating is acceptable, that humiliation is love, that money matters more than character. Derek stopped struggling. So that is it. 3 years of marriage, and you are just going to throw it away. You threw it away, Derek, every time you chose her over me, every time you lied to my face, every time you made me feel like I was not enough. You threw away our marriage piece by piece, and now you are angry that there is nothing left. Maya turned to the guards. Get him out of here. Maya, wait. And tell him that if he comes back without an appointment, I will have him arrested for trespassing. The guards dragged Derek toward the door. He fought them the whole way, shouting Maya's name, making promises he had no intention of keeping. The door slammed shut behind him. Maya exhaled slowly. Her hands were shaking, but her voice had been steady. She had done it. She had faced him and not broken down. That was well handled, Richard said quietly. I do not feel like I handled anything. I feel like I am falling apart. You are allowed to fall apart. But you did not in front of him. That took strength. The lead lawyer stepped forward. Mrs. Chen. Whitmore, Maya corrected. I'm taking back my name. The lawyer nodded. Ms. Whitmore, we need to discuss the divorce proceedings. Given the circumstances, we believe we can expedite the process. Mr. Chen has significant legal exposure due to the embezzlement charges. He may be motivated to settle quickly. What are his options? He can fight the divorce, which will be expensive and public. Every detail of his affair will come out in court. The videos are already everywhere. His reputation is destroyed. Fighting will only make it worse. Or he can sign the papers and walk away with whatever dignity he has left. No alimony, no property claims, minimal custody rights. In exchange, you do not pursue criminal charges for the embezzlement. Maya considered this. I do not want his money. I do not want anything from him except my freedom. Then we push for a clean break. But there is the matter of the child. Maya's hand went to her stomach again. What about the child? Mr. Chen will have parental rights. Even if you divorce, he can petition for custody. Visitation at minimum. He humiliated me in front of 500 people. He cheated on me for months. He embezzled from my father's company. And he still has rights. In the eyes of the law, yes, the affair and the humiliation are not grounds for terminating parental rights. The embezzlement complicates things, but unless he is convicted and imprisoned, he will likely retain some access to the child. Maya felt sick. So I have to share my baby with him after everything. Richard spoke up. Not necessarily. If Derek is convicted of embezzlement, his parental rights can be restricted. If he violates any custody agreements, they can be terminated. We will build a case that demonstrates he is an unfit father. And if we cannot, then we negotiate. Limited visitation. Supervised visits only. He sees the child on our terms in our spaces with our people watching. He will never be alone with that baby. Maya nodded slowly. It was not perfect, but it was something. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. She opened it. You think you have won, but this is far from over. You destroyed my life, and I will destroy yours. Watch your back. Maya showed the message to her father. His face darkened. Jessica, he said. How do you know? Because Derek does not have the spine to threaten anyone, but that woman has nothing left to lose. He turned to his security chief. Increase protection on Maya, 24 hours. I want eyes on Jessica Lane at all times. If she comes within 100 feet of my daughter, I want to know about it. Yes, sir. Maya stared at the message on her phone. 12 hours ago, Jessica had been handing her a mop, laughing at her humiliation, confident in her victory. Now she was sending anonymous threats. How quickly things changed. The next few days were a blur of legal meetings, media requests, and emotional exhaustion. Derek's lawyers reached out almost immediately. He wanted to negotiate. He wanted to talk. He wanted another chance. Maya refused every request. The divorce papers sat unsigned on her lawyer's desk. Derek would not give up without a fight. But Maya was ready to fight. On the 4th day, something unexpected happened. Patricia Chen requested a meeting. Absolutely not, Maya said immediately. Hear me out, her father's lawyer said. Mrs. Chen claims she has information about Derek, information that could help your case. She is trying to save herself. She knows she is on thin ice. Probably, but what if she actually has something useful? Maya thought about it. Patricia was desperate. Desperate people did desperate things. Sometimes those things were valuable. Fine, but she comes here. And she talks to me, not my lawyers. And Patricia arrived an hour later. She looked 10 years older than she had at the gala. No designer clothes, no expensive jewelry, just a woman who had lost everything she cared about. Thank you for seeing me, Patricia said quietly. I did not do it for you. What do you want? Patricia sat down heavily. I want to help you. Why would you help me? You have spent 3 years telling everyone who would listen that I was not good enough for your son. Because my son is a monster, and I helped create him. Maya waited. I knew about Jessica, Patricia continued. Not at first, but I found out about 4 months ago. Derek called me drunk crying. He said he had fallen in love with someone else. He asked me what to do. And what did you tell him? Patricia's face crumbled with shame. I told him to keep both. I told him that men have needs. I told him that as long as he was discreet, no one would know. I told him that you were too naive to figure it out. Maya felt sick. You encouraged him to cheat on me. I encouraged him to be like his father. Silence. Patricia looked up with tears in her eyes. My husband cheated on me for our entire marriage. 32 years. I knew about every woman, every hotel room, every business trip that was not really a business trip. And I stayed because I thought that was what wives did. I stayed because I did not have anywhere else to go. So you taught your son to do the same thing. I taught him that marriage was about appearances, that love was a luxury, not a requirement, that women were accessories, not partners. Patricia's voice broke. I was wrong. I was so wrong. And now my son is going to prison and my family is destroyed and it is all my fault. Maya did not know what to say. Part of her wanted to comfort this broken woman. Part of her wanted to throw her out. Why are you telling me this? Because Derek has more secrets, things even you do not know. What secrets? Patricia pulled out her phone. 3 months ago, Derek took out a life insurance policy. On you. For $2 million. Maya's blood went cold. He told me it was standard, just in case something happened. But after the gala, I started wondering, why would he insure someone he was planning to divorce? The implication hung in the air. You think he was planning to hurt me? I think my son is capable of things I never wanted to believe, and I think you should be very careful. Maya took the phone. The insurance documents were right there. Her name, her photo, $2 million payable to Derek Chen upon her death. There is more, Patricia said. Jessica Lane has a brother. He has a criminal record. Assault, battery, illegal possession of firearms. Derek met with him twice last month. For what? I do not know, but I know it was not good. Maya's hands were shaking. Why are you telling me this now? Why did you not say something before? Because I was a coward, because I thought Derek would never actually hurt anyone, because I was more worried about my reputation than your safety. Patricia reached across and grabbed Maya's hands. I'm sorry. I am so sorry for everything. I cannot take back what I did, but I can try to make it right. Maya pulled her hands away. Get out. Maya, get out. I will give this information to my lawyers, but I never want to see you again. Patricia stood slowly. I understand. I deserve that. But please be careful. My son is desperate, and desperate men do terrible things. She left without another word. Maya sat alone in the study, staring at the insurance documents on the phone. $2 million. Derek had been planning something terrible. And Jessica's brother had a criminal record. What had they been plotting? She called her father immediately. Dad, we have a problem. But Richard listened to everything. By the time Maya finished, his face was stone. I am tripling your security. Effective immediately. Do you think Derek would actually... I do not know what that man is capable of, but I am not taking any chances. Not with you. Not with my grandchild. He made calls. Within an hour, Maya had 6 security personnel assigned to her around the clock. Her father's investigators were already looking into Jessica's brother. The police were being notified about the life insurance policy, but Maya could not shake the feeling that something terrible was coming. That night, she could not sleep. She lay in bed, hand on her stomach, thinking about the baby growing inside her. This child would never know a normal life, never have a normal father, never understand why their family was so broken. But this child would be loved, fiercely, completely, no matter what happened. Maya made a promise to herself that night. No one would ever hurt her baby. Not Derek. Not Jessica. Not anyone. She would protect this child with everything she had, even if it killed her. At 3 in the morning, her phone buzzed. Another unknown number. She opened the message. It was a photo of her father's estate, taken from outside the gates, time stamped 10 minutes ago. The message below it read, "We know where you are." Maya screamed for security. They came running, but when they checked the perimeter, there was no one there, just darkness. And the certainty that somewhere out there, someone was watching, waiting, planning. The security team swept the entire perimeter twice before dawn. They found nothing except tire tracks near the east gate. Someone had been there. Someone had taken that photo. But they were gone now, vanished into the night like smoke. Maya sat in her father's study, wrapped in a blanket, unable to stop shaking. "We have notified the police," Richard said. "They are treating this as a credible threat." It was Jessica. I know it was Jessica. Probably, but we need proof. She sent me a message threatening me. Is that not proof enough? The message came from an untraceable number. Without direct evidence linking it to her, we cannot do anything. Maya wanted to scream. So she can stalk me, send me photos of my home in the middle of the night, and the police do nothing. The police are doing what they can, but until she actually does something, their hands are tied. Until she actually does something. What does that mean? Until she hurts me? Until she hurts the baby? Richard's face was grim. It will not come to that. I promise you. How can you promise that she knows where I am? She is watching me. She could do anything. And I have 20 security personnel on this property right now. Armed, trained, ready. No one is getting through those gates without my permission. Maya wanted to believe him, but the fear would not go away. Her phone buzzed. She flinched. It was her lawyer. "Ms. Whitmore, we have a development. Derek Chen wants to meet. He says he has information about the threats you have been receiving. He wants to trade information for leniency. That is my assumption as well, but he claims to know who is behind the stalking. He claims he can make it stop." Maya looked at her father. He shook his head. "Tell him no. I am not negotiating with him. He says if you do not meet with him today, he cannot guarantee your safety." That sounds like a threat. It does. Should I involve the police? Maya hesitated. If Derek knew something about Jessica's plans, she needed to know. But meeting with him felt like walking into a trap. Where does he want to meet? A coffee shop downtown, public place, broad daylight. He thinks that will make me feel safe. He thinks it will make you curious. Maya thought for a long moment. Fine, I will meet him, but on my terms. My location, my security, and my father's lawyers present. I will arrange it. The call ended. Richard stared at his daughter. You are not seriously considering this. He knows something, Dad. I can feel it. Or he is bluffing to get access to you. Then I will find out which one it is. Maya, I am done hiding. I am done being afraid. If Derek knows who is threatening me, I want to hear it from his mouth. And then I want to watch him explain to the police why he did not report it sooner. Richard studied her face for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. My security goes with you. Non-negotiable. Of course. And if anything feels wrong, you leave immediately. I know. And Maya. Richard's voice softened. Be careful. That man is desperate. Desperate people are dangerous. I know, Dad. That is exactly why I need to hear what he has to say. The meeting happened 3 hours later. Maya chose the location. A private conference room at one of her father's downtown office buildings. Security at every entrance. Cameras recording everything. Lawyers present on both sides. Derek walked in looking like a ghost of the man she had married. Unshaven. Dark circles under his eyes. Clothes wrinkled and stained. He had fallen far in just 1 week. Maya. His voice cracked when he said her name. Thank you for seeing me. I did not do it for you. You said you have information. Talk. Derek sat down heavily across from her. His lawyers flanked him, but they looked uncomfortable, like they knew their client was about to say something that could destroy him. Jessica is planning something, Derek said. Something bad. I figured that out when she sent me a photo of my home at 3 a.m. That was her brother, Marcus. He is the one doing the surveillance. And you know this how... Derek hesitated. Because I was part of it. The room went silent. Maya's security team tensed. Her lawyers exchanged glances. Richard, watching through a video feed in another room, leaned forward. You were part of it. Maya repeated slowly. Why? Part of what exactly? Jessica came to me after the gala. She was furious. She said you had destroyed her life and she was going to destroy yours. She wanted my help. And you agreed. I did not have a choice. She had evidence, photos, videos, recordings of things I said, things I did. She threatened to release everything if I did not cooperate. What kind of cooperation? Derek could not meet her eyes. Information about your schedule, your security, the layout of your father's estate. Maya felt sick. You gave her information about how to get to me. I did not think she would actually do anything. I thought she was just venting. But then she started talking to Marcus, and the plans got more specific, and I realized... You realized what? Derek finally looked at her. His eyes were filled with terror. She is going to have you killed, Maya. That is the plan. Make it look like an accident, collect the insurance money, disappear before anyone figures out what happened. The room exploded. Maya's lawyers started shouting objections. Her security team moved closer. Derek's lawyers tried to silence their client, but Maya sat perfectly still. You took out a life insurance policy on me, she said quietly. $2 million, payable to you upon my death. Jessica made me do it. She said it was just a precaution. I did not know she was planning... You did not know. You took out a policy on your pregnant wife's life, and you did not know what it was for. I was scared. She had leverage over me. I did not know what else to do. You could have gone to the police. You could have told me. You could have done the right thing for once in your miserable life. Derek broke down completely. Tears streamed down his face. I am telling you now. That is why I am here. To warn you. To make this right. To make this right? Maya's voice rose. My life is in danger because of you. My baby's life is in danger. And you think coming here now makes anything right? I can help you stop her. I know where Marcus is. I know where Jessica is hiding. I can give you everything you need to put them both in prison. And what do you want in return? Derek wiped his face with shaking hands. Leniency. On the embezzlement charges. On the divorce. I want a chance to be part of my child's life. Maya laughed. It was not a kind laugh. You want to be part of my child's life after you helped plan my murder. I did not help plan anything. I just gave them information. I did not know what they were going to do with it. That is even worse. You gave them the tools to hurt me without caring what they did with them. That is not ignorance, Derek. That is cowardice. Derek had no response. Maya turned to her lawyers. Is any of this admissible? Can we use his confession? Everything he said is being recorded. If he cooperates fully, his testimony could be used to prosecute Jessica Lane and her brother. And his charges. That is up to the district attorney. But given the severity of the conspiracy, his cooperation could result in reduced sentencing. Maya looked back at Derek, this pathetic, broken man who had once been her husband, who had promised to love her, who had betrayed her in every possible way. "Give the police everything," she said. "Every piece of information you have, every conversation, every plan. If you hold back even one detail, I will make sure you spend the rest of your life in prison." "I will. I promise, everything." "And Derek." Maya leaned forward, her eyes cold. "When this is over, you will sign the divorce papers. No negotiations, no conditions. You will walk away with nothing, and you will never contact me or my child again." "Maya, please. The baby is mine, too." "The baby is mine. You lost any right to this child the moment you helped plan my murder. Sign the papers or go to prison. Those are your only options." Derek's face crumbled, but he nodded. "I will sign." "Good. Now get out of my sight." The security team escorted Derek out. His lawyers followed already on their phones, trying to negotiate the best possible deal for their client. Maya sat alone in the conference room, trying to process what had just happened. Her husband had helped plan her assassination. Her husband, the father of her child. She had known Derek was weak. She had known he was unfaithful. But she had never imagined he was capable of this. Her phone rang. Her father. "I heard everything," Richard said. "Are you all right?" "No, I am not all right. But I am not surprised either." "The police are already moving. They have Derek's information. They are tracking Jessica and Marcus now." "Will they find them in time?" "They will find them. I have my own people working alongside the police. Jessica Lane is not going to hurt you. I promise." Maya wanted to believe him, but the fear was still there, coiled in her stomach like a snake. "I want to come home," she said quietly. "Then come home. I will have security meet you at the garage." Maya ended the call and stood up slowly. Her legs felt weak. Her hands would not stop shaking. She made it 3 steps toward the door before the lights went out. Complete darkness. Maya froze. "Hello?" Her voice echoed in the empty room. No response. She reached for her phone. Before she could turn on the flashlight, a hand grabbed her from behind, a cloth pressed over her mouth and nose. Something sweet, chemical, overwhelming. Maya tried to scream, but the sound died in her throat. Her vision blurred. Her legs gave out. The last thing she heard before darkness took her was a woman's voice, cold and triumphant. "Hello, Mrs. Whitmore. We have been waiting for you." Maya woke to pain. Her head throbbed, her wrists burned. Her mouth was dry and tasted like chemicals. She tried to move, but her hands were bound behind her back. Her ankles were tied to the legs of a chair. "She is awake." Jessica Lane stepped into Maya's field of vision. She was different now. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup. Just jeans and a black sweater, her hair pulled back, her face twisted with hatred. "Finally! I was starting to think Marcus gave you too much." Maya's voice was hoarse. "Where am I?" "Somewhere your father's security will never find you. Do not worry about the details. You will not be here long." "What do you want?" Jessica laughed. "What do I want? I want my life back. I want my career back. I want everything you took from me." "I did not take anything from you. You did this to yourself." Jessica's hand connected with Maya's face. The slap echoed through the room. "Shut up. You do not get to talk right now." Maya tasted blood, but she did not look away. "Your father destroyed everything," Jessica continued. "My job, my reputation, my future. I had worked for 7 years to get where I was. 7 years of climbing, clawing, fighting for every promotion, and he took it all away in one night. You humiliated me in front of 500 people. You gave me a mop and told me to clean. Because I thought you were nobody, I thought you were just some pathetic little wife who did not belong there. How was I supposed to know you were the heir to a billion-dollar empire?" "That is exactly the point, Jessica. You treated me that way because you thought I was powerless. That tells me everything I need to know about who you really are." Another slap, harder this time. I said, "Shut up." A door opened somewhere behind Maya. Heavy footsteps approached. Is she talking? A man's voice, deep, rough. She will not stop talking. Then make her stop. Marcus Lane stepped into view. He was bigger than Maya had imagined. Broad shoulders, shaved head, tattoos covering his arms. He looked like exactly what he was, a criminal. So this is the billionaire's daughter, Marcus said, studying her. She does not look like much. She is worth more dead than alive, Jessica replied. 2 million from the insurance policy, plus whatever we can get from her father. He will pay, Marcus agreed. Men like him always pay for their kids. Maya's blood ran cold. You are going to ransom me? Smart girl. Jessica smiled. Here is how this works. Your father transfers $10 million to an offshore account. Once the money clears, we let you go. Simple. And if he does not pay, Jessica and Marcus exchanged glances. Then we collect the insurance money instead. Maya's heart pounded. You cannot collect insurance money on a murder. It will not be murder. It will be a tragic accident. A pregnant woman kidnapped and killed by unknown assailants. So sad, so senseless. Derek collects the policy, splits it with us, and we all disappear. Derek agreed to this. Derek does whatever I tell him to do. He is weak, pathetic, but useful. Jessica leaned close to Maya's face. He gave us everything we needed to find you. The meeting today? That was the plan all along. Get you out of your father's fortress and into somewhere we could reach you. Maya's mind raced. Derek had set her up. The confession, the cooperation, the promises to help. All of it was a trap. He is not going to get away with this, Maya said. He already has. By the time your father realizes you are missing, we will be long gone. And Derek will be playing the grieving husband, collecting his insurance money, ready to start over. My father will find you. He will never stop looking. Your father is not as powerful as he thinks, Jessica straightened up. I have friends too. People who know how to disappear. People who have done this before. She turned to Marcus. Get the camera. We need to send Daddy a message. Marcus disappeared. Jessica circled Maya slowly, like a predator examining prey. You know what really kills me? You had everything. Money, power, a husband who would do anything for you. And you threw it all away to play poor. You dressed in rags and lived in that pathetic apartment and pretended to be normal. Why would anyone do that? Because I wanted to be loved for who I was, not for my money. And how did that work out for you? Maya said nothing. Derek never loved you, Jessica continued. He loved the idea of you. The sweet, simple wife who would never question him. The woman who made him feel like a provider instead of a fraud. When he realized you were boring and needy and completely wrong for his ambitions, he came to me. He came to you because you let him cheat without consequences. I let him be himself. That is more than you ever did. Marcus returned with the video camera. He set it up on a tripod, pointing directly at Maya. Smile for Daddy, Jessica said. Let him see what happens to people who cross me. The red light blinked on. Jessica stepped behind Maya, just out of frame. Mr. Whitmore, by now you have realized your daughter is missing. She is alive for now, but that can change very quickly. Maya felt something cold press against her temple. Metal, a gun. Here are our terms. $10 million. Wired to the account number you will receive in a separate message. You have 24 hours to complete the transfer. If the money does not arrive, we will send you your daughter. In pieces. The gun pressed harder against Maya's head. Do not try to find us. Do not involve the police. Do not test my patience. I have nothing left to lose, Mr. Whitmore. Can you say the same? The recording stopped. Jessica removed the gun from Maya's temple. Perfect. Marcus, send it. Already done. Jessica walked around to face Maya again. Now we wait. 24 hours. That is how long you have left to live. I hope your father loves you enough to pay. He will pay, Maya said quietly. Good. Then maybe I will let you live. Jessica smiled. Or maybe I will kill you anyway. After everything you have done to me, I think I deserve that satisfaction. She walked away, disappearing through a door Maya could not see. Marcus stayed behind, settling into a chair across from her, the gun resting on his knee. "Do not try anything stupid," he said. "I have killed people before. It does not bother me." Maya closed her eyes. 24 hours. 24 hours to live, unless her father found her first. The hours crawled by. Maya drifted in and out of consciousness. The drugs were still in her system, making everything hazy and unreal. She thought about her baby, still growing inside her, still unaware of the danger surrounding them both. She thought about her father, probably going insane right now, mobilizing every resource he had to find her. She thought about Derek, the man she had loved, the man who had betrayed her completely. And she thought about dying. It was strange how calm she felt. Maybe it was the drugs. Maybe it was shock. But the fear that had consumed her for the past week was gone now, replaced by something else. Clarity. If she survived this, everything would be different. She would never trust anyone the same way again. She would never let her guard down. She would never pretend to be someone she was not. But first, she had to survive. "Hey." Maya opened her eyes. Marcus was staring at her. "You thirsty?" She nodded. He held a water bottle to her lips. She drank gratefully. "Thank you," she said. "Do not thank me. I am not your friend." "I know, but you are still giving me water." Marcus shrugged. "Jessica wants you alive for now. Dead hostages do not bring ransom money." "Why are you doing this, helping her?" "She is my sister. Family helps family." "Even when family is wrong." Marcus's eyes hardened. "Jessica is not wrong. She is just taking what she deserves. She is kidnapping a pregnant woman. That is not justice. That is crime. Rich people commit crimes every day and get away with it. This is no different." Maya shook her head slowly. "It is different, because you are going to get caught. My father will find me, and when he does, you will spend the rest of your life in prison." Marcus laughed. "Your father is not going to find you. We are in the middle of nowhere. No cell service, no neighbors, no witnesses. By the time anyone figures out where you are, we will be in another country." "You underestimate him. And you overestimate him. He is just a man with money. Money does not solve everything." Maya heard something. Distant. Faint. Like thunder. But it was not thunder. It was helicopters. Marcus heard it too. He jumped to his feet, grabbing his gun. "What the hell?" Jessica burst through the door. "They found us. How did they find us?" "I do not know. Kill her. Kill her now and let us go." Marcus raised his gun toward Maya. Time slowed. Maya saw the barrel pointed at her face. She saw Marcus's finger tighten on the trigger. And then the wall exploded. Dust and debris filled the air. Maya could not see, could not breathe. Her ears rang from the explosion, but she was alive. Gunshots erupted around her. Shouting, running footsteps, more explosions. Someone cut the ropes binding her wrists. Strong hands lifted her from the chair. "I have her. I have her." Maya blinked through the dust. A man in tactical gear carried her toward a hole in the wall where the explosion had torn through. "Dad," she croaked. "He is outside. We need to move. Now." More gunshots behind them. Maya heard Jessica screaming something, but the words were lost in the chaos. The tactical team carried her out into blinding daylight. Helicopters circled overhead. Police cars surrounded the building. Dozens of armed officers moved in every direction. And there, standing behind a barricade of vehicles, was Richard Whitmore. "Maya!" He ran toward her the moment she emerged. The tactical officer lowered her to the ground, and then her father's arms were around her, holding her so tight she could barely breathe. "You are safe. Thank God you are safe." Maya collapsed against him. The tears came finally unstoppable, pouring out of her like a dam breaking. "I thought I was going to die," she sobbed. "They were going to kill me." I know. But you are safe now. They will never hurt you again." Behind them, the tactical team emerged from the building with two people in handcuffs. Jessica Lane, her face bloody and furious. Marcus Lane limping from a gunshot wound to the leg. Jessica saw Maya and screamed, "This is not over. You hear me? This is not over." An officer shoved her into a police car. The door slammed, cutting off her screams. Maya watched from her father's arms. The woman who had tried to kill her. The woman who had destroyed her marriage. The woman who had made her life a living nightmare. In handcuffs, defeated, finished. "How did you find me?" Maya asked. Richard pulled back his hands on her shoulders. "Derek. He called me 20 minutes after you were taken. He told me everything. The location, the plan, the backup sites, everything." "Derek helped you." "He said he could not go through with it. He said when he saw them take you, he realized what he had done. He has been cooperating with the police ever since." Maya did not know what to feel. Derek had betrayed her. Derek had helped plan her kidnapping, but Derek had also saved her life. Where is he now? In custody. He will face charges for his involvement, but his cooperation will be taken into account. A paramedic approached. "Ms. Whitmore, we need to check you and the baby. Can you come with us?" Maya nodded. She let the paramedic guide her toward an ambulance, her father walking beside her. "The baby," she whispered. "Is the baby okay?" "We will find out right now. Just breathe. You are safe." They lifted her into the ambulance. Machines beeped. Someone pressed a cold instrument to her stomach. Silence, then a sound. Thump, thump, thump. A heartbeat. "Strong heartbeat," the paramedic said, smiling. "Your baby is a fighter." Maya burst into tears again, but this time they were tears of relief. Her baby was alive. After everything, after the kidnapping, after the terror, after staring death in the face, her baby was still fighting, just like her. The hospital kept Maya overnight for observation. Her father never left her side. Police officers came and went, taking statements, gathering evidence, building their case. Maya told them everything. The kidnapping, Jessica's confession, Marcus pointing the gun at her head. By morning, the full scope of the conspiracy was clear. Jessica Lane had been planning Maya's murder for weeks. Derek had provided inside information. Marcus had done the surveillance. The insurance policy was meant to fund their escape. But Derek's last-minute confession had unraveled everything. "I want to see him," Maya said. Richard looked at her sharply. "Derek, yes." "Why, after everything he did? Because I need to understand. I need to hear it from him. Why he did this. Why he was willing to let them kill me." Richard hesitated. "The doctors said you should rest." "I will rest better after I have answers." Her father studied her face for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I will arrange it." Derek arrived 2 hours later, handcuffed, flanked by police officers, looking like he had aged 10 years overnight. They put him in a chair across from Maya's hospital bed. The officers stood by the door watching. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Derek broke. "I am sorry," he whispered. "I am so sorry." "Sorry for what?" "For cheating on me, for helping plan my kidnapping, for almost getting me killed. For everything, for all of it. That is not good enough, Derek. I need to know why. Why did you do this? Why did you hate me so much?" "I did not hate you." Tears streamed down his face. "I loved you, I really did. In the beginning." "Then what happened?" Derek's voice cracked. "You were perfect. Too perfect. You never asked for anything? Never complained? Never pushed back? And the more perfect you were, the more I realized how imperfect I was. So you punished me for being a good wife." "I punished you because you made me feel small. Every time I looked at you, I saw everything I was not. Patient, kind, selfless. You were everything I pretended to be. And I hated you for it." Maya felt sick. "You hated me for loving you." "I hated myself for not being worthy of that love. And instead of becoming better, I became worse. I found Jessica because she made me feel powerful. She told me I deserved more. She convinced me that you were the problem. And when you found out who I really was, Derek laughed bitterly. That was the worst part. Finding out you were rich, finding out you had hidden this incredible life to be with me. It should have made me grateful. Instead, it made me furious. Furious because it proved everything I feared. You were better than me in every way. You could have had anyone. And you chose me. That meant either you pitied me or you were testing me. Either way, I failed. Maya stared at the man she had married, the man she had loved, the man she had given 3 years of her life. You are right, she said quietly. You failed. You failed every single day. Not because you were not worthy of my love, but because you chose to believe that instead of choosing to grow. I know. I would have stayed with you, Derek, if you had just been honest with me. If you had told me you were struggling, if you had let me help you, I would have stayed. I know that too. That is what makes this worse. Silence stretched between them. What happens now? Maya asked. I am going to prison. The DA offered me a deal. 2 years for conspiracy, plus probation, plus restitution. And the baby, Derek's face crumbled. I signed the papers. You have full custody. I will not fight you. I do not deserve to be part of that child's life. No, you do not. But Maya? Derek leaned forward, his eyes desperate. Please, when the baby is older, when they ask about me, do not tell them I was a monster. Tell them I was weak. Tell them I made terrible choices, but please do not let them think I never loved them. Maya considered his request. This man who had almost gotten her killed. This man who had betrayed her in every possible way. But also the man who had saved her in the end. The man who had made the call that brought her father's team to that building. The man who had finally done the right thing. I will tell them the truth, she said. All of it. The good parts and the bad. And when they are old enough to understand, they can decide for themselves what kind of man you were. Derek nodded slowly. That is more than I deserve. Yes, it is. The police took him away. Maya watched him go, feeling something she had not expected. Pity. Not forgiveness, not love, but pity. Derek Chen had been given everything. A wife who loved him. A family that supported him. A career with endless potential. And he had thrown it all away because he could not love himself. That was the real tragedy. 3 months later, Maya sat in a courtroom and watched justice unfold. Jessica Lane was convicted of kidnapping conspiracy to commit murder and extortion. 25 years to life. No possibility of parole for 15 years. When the verdict was read, Jessica screamed at Maya from the defense table. You ruined my life. You took everything from me. Maya looked at her calmly. You ruined your own life, Jessica. I just showed the world who you really were. They dragged Jessica away, still screaming. Marcus Lane received 20 years for kidnapping and assault. He said nothing when his sentence was read, just stared at the floor with empty eyes. Derek Chen got his 2 years. He was shipped to a minimum security facility in another state. Maya did not attend his sentencing. She had said everything she needed to say. Patricia Chen disappeared from society entirely. The scandal had destroyed her reputation. Her friends abandoned her. Her country club revoked her membership. Last Maya heard, she had moved to Florida to live with a distant cousin. The videos from the gala had reached over 100 million views. Maya had become a symbol of strength, of survival, of knowing your worth. But she did not feel like a symbol. She just felt tired. 6 months after the kidnapping, Maya gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Lucas Richard Whitmore. Her father cried when he held his grandson for the first time. Real tears, the kind Maya had never seen from him before. He looks like you, Richard whispered. When you were born. Same eyes, same stubborn chin. Maya smiled. He is going to be trouble. Good. The world needs more trouble. She brought Lucas home to the Whitmore estate. Not to the mansion her father lived in, but to a smaller house on the property. A place that was hers. A place where she could raise her son on her own terms. The first few months were hard. Sleepless nights, endless feedings, the overwhelming responsibility of keeping another human being alive. But Maya would not trade any of it. Every time she looked at Lucas, she saw a possibility. A new life, a fresh start, a chance to do everything right. She was not going to hide anymore. She was not going to pretend to be someone she was not. She was Maya Whitmore, heir to a billion-dollar empire survivor of betrayal and kidnapping and attempted murder. And she was done apologizing for any of it. 1 year later, Maya stood at a podium in front of 300 people, the Lucas Foundation annual gala. The charity she had started to help women escape abusive relationships. In its first year, the foundation had helped over 500 women rebuild their lives. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Maya said into the microphone. 1 year ago, I was in a very different place. I was married to a man who did not love me. I was hiding who I really was. I was trying so hard to be perfect that I forgot how to be myself. The room was silent, listening. When my marriage fell apart, when my life fell apart, I thought it was the end. I thought I had failed. I thought everything I had worked for was gone. She paused. But I was wrong. It was not the end. It was the beginning. The beginning of understanding who I really was. The beginning of knowing my own worth. The beginning of refusing to let anyone else define my value. Maya looked out at the crowd. Women who had escaped violent marriages. Women who had lost everything and rebuilt from nothing. Women who had survived. Every single one of you has a story. A story of pain. A story of struggle. A story of moments when you thought you could not go on. But you did. You are here. You survived. Applause rippled through the room. The Lucas Foundation exists because of you. Because your stories matter. Because your lives matter. Because no one should ever feel like they are trapped. Like they have no options. Like they are worthless. Maya's voice strengthened. I spent 3 years pretending to be nobody. I wanted to be loved for who I was, not for my money. And you know what I learned? I learned that the right person will love you regardless. And the wrong person will find a reason to hurt you regardless. Money does not change character. It just reveals it. She thought of Derek, of Jessica, of Patricia. The people who hurt me did not hurt me because they were evil. They hurt me because they were afraid. Afraid of not being enough. Afraid of not having enough. Afraid of losing control. Fear makes us do terrible things. It makes us betray the people we love. It makes us become the monsters we once feared. Maya straightened. But fear can also make us strong. Fear can push us to fight. Fear can force us to face the truth about ourselves and the people around us. I was afraid when I walked into that Christmas party. I was afraid when I learned the truth about my husband. I was afraid when I was kidnapped and held at gunpoint. She smiled. But I am not afraid anymore. Because I know who I am. I know what I am worth. And no one can ever take that from me. The room erupted in applause, standing ovation, women crying, women cheering. Women who saw themselves in Maya's story. After the speech, Maya found a quiet corner to catch her breath. Her father appeared beside her. "That was beautiful," Richard said. "I meant every word." "I know you did. That is what made it beautiful." Maya looked out at the crowd, at the women she had helped, at the lives she had changed. "Do you ever think about what would have happened if I had never met Derek?" she asked. "Sometimes. I would have stayed hidden. I would have kept running from who I was. I might never have found the courage to be myself." Richard nodded slowly. Pain has a way of stripping away everything except the truth. The truth. Maya laughed softly. I spent 3 years lying about who I was, and the truth almost killed me. But it did not. And now you are stronger than ever. Maya thought about her son at home, about the mother she was becoming, about the woman she had always been hidden underneath the lies and the fear. "I am going to tell Lucas everything," she said. "When he is old enough, about his father, about what happened, about all of it." "Are you sure? He deserves the truth. Everyone deserves the truth." Richard put his arm around his daughter. "You are a good mother, Maya. Lucas is lucky to have you." "I am lucky to have him. He saved me, you know. When I was tied to that chair when Marcus pointed that gun at my head, I was not thinking about myself. I was thinking about my baby, about the life growing inside me, about all the things I wanted to teach him. What things? Maya smiled. That your worth is not determined by what other people think of you. That love is not about possession or control. That the right person will see you for who you really are, and that will be enough. That money does not make you better than anyone else. That kindness is stronger than cruelty. That the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than a comfortable lie. She looked at her father. And that family is everything. The people who stand by you when everything falls apart. The people who fight for you when you cannot fight for yourself. The people who love you not because of what you have, but because of who you are. Richard's eyes glistened. When did you become so wise? When I stopped pretending and started living. They stood together in silence, watching the gala continue around them. 3 years ago, Maya had walked away from everything she knew to find something real. She had found Derek instead, a man who did not deserve her, a man who had betrayed her in every possible way. But she had also found something else, herself, the real Maya, not the heiress, not the wife, not the victim, just Maya. A woman who had been knocked down and gotten back up, a woman who had faced the worst and survived, a woman who had learned that her value did not depend on anyone else's opinion. That was the real inheritance, not the money, not the power, not the empire. The knowledge that she was enough, exactly as she was. 2 years later, Maya met someone new. His name was James, a teacher at Lucas's preschool. He had no idea who she was when they first met. He just saw a single mother picking up her son looking tired and overwhelmed and completely human. He asked her out for coffee. She said no. He asked again. She said no again. He asked a third time. She finally said yes. On their first date, she told him everything. Who she was, what had happened, why she had trust issues the size of mountains. James listened to the whole story without interrupting. When she finished, he took a sip of his coffee and said, "That is a lot." "I know. I understand if you want to leave." "I do not want to leave. I just want to know one thing." "What?" "Do you like Thai food? Because there is a great place down the street and I am starving." Maya laughed. For the first time in years, she laughed without any weight behind it. "I love Thai food." "Then let us go. You can tell me more about the kidnapping over pad Thai." They were married a year later. Small ceremony, close friends and family. Lucas was the ring bearer. James never treated Maya differently because of her money. He never asked for anything. He never tried to change her. He just loved her. The way she had always wanted to be loved. The way she had always deserved. On their wedding night, Maya stood on the balcony of their hotel room and looked out at the city lights. James came up behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "About how different my life is now. About how much I have lost and how much I have gained." "Any regrets?" Maya thought about it. Really thought about it. Derek, Jessica, Patricia, the humiliation, the kidnapping, the fear, the pain, all of it had led her here, to this moment, to this man, to this life. "No," she said finally. "No regrets. Not even marrying me." She turned in his arms and kissed him. "Especially not marrying you." They stood together as the city sparkled below them. Maya Whitmore had been through hell. She had been betrayed by the man she loved. She had been humiliated in front of 500 people. She had been kidnapped and nearly murdered. But she had survived. More than survived. She had thrived. Because she had learned the most important lesson of all. Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. You are enough. You have always been enough. And anyone who cannot see that does not deserve a place in your life. Maya had spent 3 years hiding who she was searching for someone who would love her without knowing her secrets. In the end, she found something better. She found someone who loved her because of her secrets, because of her scars, because of everything she had been through. And that love was worth more than all the money in the world. If this story moved you, smash that like button right now. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story. Drop a comment below telling me what you would have done in Maya's situation. Would you have revealed your identity sooner? Would you have forgiven Derek? And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, someone who has forgotten their worth, share this video with them. Sometimes we all need a reminder that we are stronger than we think, that we deserve better than we settle for, that the right person is out there waiting. Remember, your value is not determined by how others treat you. It is determined by how you treat yourself. Know your worth. Never settle for less. And never ever let anyone make you feel like you are not enough. Because you are. You always have been. And you always will be.